My dear friends, welcome to Rajashekhar classes on Applied Data Science with Python. This is lecture number 319. In this lecture, I will continue my discussion on confusion matrix. Please recall my previous lecture, that is lecture number 318, in which I discussed about confusion matrix related to binary classification task. Now, if you have a multi-class setting instead of a binary setting, if you have a multi-class classification setting, you can also draw a confusion matrix. Suppose you have C classes, then you basically write a C by C matrix, where this is, just say this is C by C matrix. This one is, let me say like this. This is class 0, class 1, class 2, so on, class C minus 1. These are known as, there are how many classes are there? C classes. Therefore, this matrix order is C by C, isn't it? I can say, and all these are actual classes. These classes I can say, let me say like this. These classes are actual classes. So each column corresponding to actual class labels. These are predicted class labels. These all are predicted class labels. This one is, I can say, this one is predicted to be class 0. This one is predicted to be class 1. This one is predicted to be class C minus 1. This is again a matrix of order C by C. For binary classification, we were saying that is 2 by 2 matrix. This is again a matrix of order C by C. For multi-class setting means here I am assuming there are C classes. For binary setting, it is simple 2 by 2 matrix. For a binary class, it is 2 by 2. Let me recall that binary class. Just see this one, which we discussed in my previous lecture, isn't it? Which is also, I can say it is simple for binary class, it is a 2 by 2 matrix. These are actual. This one is, I can say, this one is actual. This one is, I can say, predicted, isn't it? For actual means, we already discussed what is actual in my previous lecture. Actual means, you can say these are yi's, isn't it? And these are predicted. Predicted means what? Predicted means yi cap. Now, one thing you will notice here, just recall, that's this one only we discussed, which one is actual, which one is predicted. Now, one thing you will notice, if your model is sensible and not dumb model, just remember it is not dumb model. Even if it is reasonably good, what happens if it's not dumb model? Let me write otherwise. Let me assume it is not dumb model. Let me say this is sensible model. Your model should predict, if it is not dumb model, your model should predict most of the data points which are actually class label 0. Let me say actual label is 0. This number should be high. Which number should be high? This number should be high. Why? Because actual 0 and predicted 0. If your model is good model, sensible model, if it is not dumb model, actual 0, predicted 0, this number should be high, isn't it? This number should be high. Why? Because actual data point is 0. If your model, if it is sensible, most of the points to belongs to class 0, isn't it? Now, not all, of course, no model is perfect, but intuitively, if you think about it, these values should be high. Which values should be high? These two values should be high. Which value? This one. Actual is 0, predicted is 0. Actual is 1. What about this one? What about this one? These two values. This is actual is 0, predicted is 0. This is actual is 1, predicted is 1. These values, these two values should be high. These two values should be high. What about other values? These values should be less. Which values should be less? These two values should be less, isn't it? These two values should be small. These values should be relatively small. Similarly, in multi-class setting, why it is small? Why? Because actual is 1, predicted is 0. Misclassification. If your model is good model, it should not misclassify, isn't it? What about this? Actual is 0. It is predicting as 1. Therefore, these values should be less. These values should be less. These principal diagonal values should be more. It's large enough. They must be high, isn't it? Similarly, in a multi-class setting, all the principal diagonal values should be high. That's what I am saying here. Just see, principal diagonal elements should be high. That's what it says, isn't it? Its principal diagonal elements should be high. This is called, which one is principal diagonal? This one is principal diagonal, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. Yes. This is called principal diagonal elements, and rest of the points which are not part of the diagonal, they are called off diagonal, because which one is off diagonal? Because they are on off diagonal. Off diagonal elements should be small, isn't it? That's what it says. Off diagonal elements. This one is off diagonal. This one is off diagonal. Off diagonal elements should be small. Principal diagonal elements should be large. This is principal diagonal should be large. Off diagonal should be small. This two-dimensional binary class we are extending to multi-class problem, isn't it? I can say, therefore, off diagonal element should be small and principal diagonal element should be large if your model is sensible. That's important. For sensible model, your principal diagonal elements must be large and off diagonal elements must be small. In a confusion matrix, the first thing you should see whether the principal diagonal elements are large or not. That's a very, very, very important. Just if you observe carefully, just see this one. That's very, very important, isn't it? Let's define a bunch of things. So, in a binary classification setting, if this is confusion matrix for binary classification, in binary classification task, these are my predicted, just see, these are my predicted, and these are my actual, which we discussed, isn't it? It's not new thing. I have class label 0 and class label 1, isn't it? Why? Because it's a binary classification. We have special names to each of these cells. This cell is called number of, what is number of true negatives? This is number of true negatives. This is called number of false negatives. This is called number of true positives. This is called number of false positive. These are the names, isn't it? Now you might get confused. This terminology is very, very easy to get confused. Let me tell you a trick that I remember. Let's take this true positive. Let me take this true positive. Let me say this is true positive. Why it is called true positive? Let's break it down. And how can I break it? Let me separate T and P. This is how I remember. This is memory trick, isn't it? What it says. What is the second one? The second value always. What is the predicted label? This one. The second one. Which one? Here. The second one is what is the predicted. What is the predicted label? The first part is always, are you correct? What is first part? First part is, are you correct? Second part is, what is the predicted label? Just try to understand this one. The first part is always, are you correct? Let me apply this technique. Let me apply this memory technique. What did you predict? You predict to be positive. Let me rewrite. Otherwise, let me rewrite this one. Let me rewrite this without looking it by just applying this theory. This is my predicted. Which one is my predicted? Just let me say this is predicted. This is actual, isn't it? Now we will try to write this one. How will I write? Let's try to fill. The second value is always predicting. In TP, that second is what is predicted, isn't it? Here what we are predicting, for example here, what we are predicting here, we are predicting 1. Therefore, what is your second value? Your second value must be P. Your second value must be P. What is the reason? What is the reason? You are predicting 1. What about this one? What you are predicting here? You are predicting 0. Therefore, what you must keep here? I must keep n. Why? Because you are predicting 0. Because what you are predicting in the second part, the first part, are you correct? Isn't it? The second part is, because what you are predicting is the second part. This is second part. What you are predicting, 1 means positive, 0 means negative. This is second part, that you must understand. The first part is, are you correct? Here actual value is 0. Just see, this is actual value is 0 and your predicted value is also 0. Just see, this is actual value 0, predicted value 0. Is it true? Are you correct? If you are correct, just see true. Isn't it? Yes, this is actual value is 1. Your predicted value is 0. Is it true or false? It's false. Your actual value is 1. Your predicted value is 1. Therefore, is it true? Yes, it's true. I must keep T. Actual value is 0. Predicted value is 1. Is it true? No, it's not true. Therefore, I must keep F. Isn't it? It is simple. It is simple. Just here, what am I doing? Here, what am I doing? My second part is what is predicted. My first part is, are you correct? That's simple. That's simple and straightforward technique. That's how I remembered these names. That's the memory trick. Now what we will do? Now the sum of Fn and Tp. What is my Fn and Tp? The sum of Fn and Tp is called total number of positive points. Just see this one. Let me define few more. Fn and Tp, that is P. That is P. P is total number of positive points. Sum of Tn and Fp, that is related to 0. Therefore, total number of negatives. Therefore, can I say something like this? The summation column, this P is total number of positive points. This one is total number of negative points. Just it is simple and straightforward, isn't it? What is small n? Small n is total number of points. Total number of points in the sense total number of positive points, total number of positive points and negative points. Now, given these simple definitions, now let's go and understand bunch of terms. There is something called true positive rate. I can say TPR. What is my TPR? TPR equal to TP by P. TP means what? Number of true positives. Isn't it? What is this first one? This is number of true positives by total number of positive points. What is TNR? What is TNR? In similar manner, TNR is Tn by n. Number of true negatives by total number of negatives. False positive rate. What is false positive rate? FP. FP means what? Number of false positive by total number of negatives. False negative rate, Fn by P. And the very simple trick to remember all of these are, draw the confusion matrix. TPR. TPR is simple. It's simple and straightforward. First, draw the confusion matrix. After drawing the confusion matrix, TPR is TP. In TPR, TP divided by, just TPR means TP divided by what is the sum of the column in which TP is present. TP is present in this particular column. What is the sum? Sum is P. That's what I am writing. What is my TNR? TNR means Tn by, just say Tn by. What is the sum of column in which Tn is present? Tn is present in this particular column whose sum is n. Therefore, Tn by n. What is false positive rate? False positive rate is Fp by. What is the sum of the column in which Fp present? Fp is present here. Sum of the column is n. In similar manner, false negative rate is Fn by sum of the column in which Fn presents, that is Fn plus Tp, that's P. These four rates are very, very useful. Let's take a simple example so that you understand better. Imagine if I have a data set. My test data set has 900 negative data points and 100 positive data points, which makes the data set is imbalanced data set. Let's take our values predicted and actual values. What are the predicted, what are the actual? These are actual values. Just see this one is actual values, this one is predicted values. This is not new thing. What are the cells? Tn, Fn, Tp, Fp. We already discussed these things. These cells we already discussed. Let's assume what is my P. P is total number of positive points, N is total number of negative points. Let's assume I built a model. What it does, 850 of the points which are actually negative, 850 of, just remember this one, actually they are negative, actual value, predicted value is also negative. Out of 900 negative points, this model is actually 0, actually negative. This model is also predicted as negative. Out of 900, it is predicting 850, isn't it? That's what 850 are the points which are actually negative, and it predicts them to be negative. This value is high, very good, and 50 of the points, that's 50 of the points actually negative, but it is predicted, actually it is negative 50 points, but it is predicting as positive, isn't it? This number 50 should be small, because your model should always predict properly. Otherwise your model is dumb model. On the other hand, out of the 100 points actual label true. Actually, let me say, out of 100 points, let me say actually it is 1. Out of 100 points, actual label is 1, predicted is 1. Out of 100, 94 are predicted correctly. What about that remaining 6? Actually 1, but predicted as 0, isn't it? Which is very nice. And for 6 of them, incorrectly predicted them to be class of 0. Actually they are a class of 1. I have these 4 values. Now let's look at 4 rates. It's an imbalanced data set, right? What is my TPR? How can I find TPR? TP by P. What is my TP? My TP is 94 by 100, that is 94%. What is my TNR? Tn by N, that is 850 by 900. It is simple formula. What is my FPR and FNR? FPR is FP by this, you know what is FPR? FP by N, isn't it? FP means what? 50 by N. What is my FNR? FN. What is my FN? 6 by in which column it is presented, its total, that's P, 6 by 100. Just observe, your model is said to be good. When can I say your model is said to be good? If TPR is high. And TNR is high, isn't it? And FPR is low, and FPR is low, and FNR is also low, isn't it? Yes, your TPR is high, 94%, your TNR is high, 94%, means this one is high, but this one is low, FPR and FNR low. What does it mean? What it indicates? Now remember, I am able to compute both my positive class and my negative class on the same ground here, even though my data set is imbalanced. Remember, my data set is imbalanced, but by taking by looking at these 4 rates, by looking at these 4 numbers, now I can say this model is sensible, because this 94% is high for TPR and TNR is also high. FPR and FNR is small. I will continue my discussion on confusion matrix in my next lecture also. Thank you very much.